Before you spend $50, $100, or even more on a professional fingerboard, watch this video first. I'm going to tell you why buying the most expensive fingerboard you can find might not actually be the best option for you, and how you can get the best bang for your buck by upgrading specific parts on a fingerboard. By the end of this video, you're going to understand where to put your money to level up your fingerboard in the best way. This is the truth about professional fingerboards. There's no denying that pro fingerboards are incredible. You've got high quality miniature skateboard parts that are very precisely made. But if you're just starting out, or even if you've been at it for a while, buying a full professional setup might be a little bit overkill. A mistake I see a lot of people make is they'll go ahead and buy a super expensive deck and keep super cheap parts. It's not necessarily the deck that makes the biggest differences, but it's actually the parts you put on it. Let's break down each part and figure out where you should focus on your upgrades. First up, let's talk about the deck of a fingerboard. A high-end wooden fingerboard deck can definitely have a better pop and feel a little bit better, but if you're on a budget, the deck actually shouldn't be the first thing you should upgrade. If you like the overall shape of your board, there's not really a big reason to upgrade. Even a cheap Techdeck can give you a solid performance with the right parts, so let's talk about those. Trucks on a fingerboard can be one of the best upgrades you can make, but they're also pretty easily able to be modified, so you could just upgrade cheap ones to make them feel better. Even if you have lower end trucks, you can still upgrade them to make them feel slightly better, but it's never going to have that same feeling as professional fingerboard trucks. Pro trucks have better bushings, smoother turning, and kind of overall just like a better geometry of the truck. It's pretty obvious why they feel so much better. Cheap trucks and those that are on a Techdeck have a super stiff, just unresponsive feel, which just is not very good to use. So upgrading to professional trucks can definitely have a much better feel. Next up, you have wheels. This is where a lot of people can find some super big improvements. Good wheels are smooth, they roll better, and they're just made with high quality materials that are going to last a lot longer. Stock wheels can feel rough and don't roll as well, which might not seem like as big of a deal at first, but it can be a game changer once you try out professional wheels. So if you're thinking of upgrading, I would say wheels are a pretty solid option, and they're also going to last a lot longer than most other parts on a fingerboard. Fingerboard bushings are another thing that can really improve the performance and consistency with tricks, but this goes back to the trucks that you buy. Cheaper trucks have terrible bushings, and even though you can upgrade them, they'll never feel as smooth as professional trucks with stock bushings. So you can upgrade bushings, but if you really want the best feeling trucks, you're better off just buying the professional ones to begin with. And then you have the grip tape. This one's pretty straightforward, but foam grip tape, like what you find on pro setups, feels way better than sandpaper grip on cheaper boards, and it's grippier, more comfortable, and just feels a lot better. That being said, not all foam grip tape is going to be the same. You can find all different qualities of foam grip tape, and I definitely wouldn't recommend just getting the cheapest stuff you can find, because this stuff is not all the same. I'm going to try something that I've never done before. This is my most expensive fingerboard, which is almost $150, and this is a Techdeck. I'm going to completely swap the parts on these boards and figure out which one actually feels better. I've put expensive parts on Techdecks before, but I've never actually taken Techdeck parts and put them on an expensive board. I'm not going to put sandpaper grip on this board, but I will put foam grip tape on the Techdeck. It feels very wrong putting Techdeck trucks on a G16 board. But there we go. I don't know if it looks good or not. Just looking at these, the Techdeck definitely looks better. Now let's see which one feels better. Starting with the G16 board with Techdeck trucks. This board does not roll. You can definitely still do tricks, but it feels really like inconsistent. Time to see how a Techdeck feels with dynamic trucks and maple wheels. The Techdeck just has that like dialed feel. It's hard to explain, but this feels like a Techdeck just with a nice shape. If I had to choose between these two setups, I would definitely pick the Techdeck. The parts on the board matter a lot more than I think people realize. This board just feels terrible compared to this. So before you upgrade your board, try to identify what parts you want to actually feel better on the setup. Don't have this idea that buying a super expensive deck is going to make the rest of your parts just feel amazing, because that is not the case. I'm choosing a Techdeck over a G16 board with the right parts. Now, if you don't like the feeling of your fingerboard deck, that's a little bit different. You obviously can't reshape your board, so you're going to need to just get a new deck at that point. But if you like the shape of your board, there's not really any reason to upgrade. So get some different parts, swap them around, figure out what parts you want, and just upgrade it from there. Try and identify where your money is going to make the biggest impact. Leave any questions down below, and I'll try and answer as many as possible.